All right, so a lot happening today around Cyberpunk 2077 because yes, finally CD Projekt Red is opening up about Cyberpunk 2077. We have unexpected official teases about the future of the game and the franchise. Some interesting stuff going on here. Plus, yes, teases to new content. And this is official, so remember that. But we are going to get a warning from a supposed CD Projekt Red developer to keep your expectations in check for Update 1.6. We've seen a lot of wild leaks about Update 1.6, things like third-person camera perspective, all sorts of crazy stuff. But yeah, we're going to talk about the importance of keeping your hype levels in check for the next big free update. Now, we have some interesting insights into the length of Cyberpunk 2077. I definitely want your opinion on this one. And that's right, I'm going to go over your top comments. So be sure to leave the comment down below. It could end up in a future video. But let's get into this headline right here about CD Projekt Red opening up about Cyberpunk 2077. We're going to talk about something that went absolutely viral recently, and I have to comment about this one right here. It says, lower your expectations. One of the developers comments on community expectations for patch 1.6, and this comes from Pablo397, who posted this. It says, don't forget that in the end, we still divide between patches and the stuff we're making for our expansion. Please don't expect any huge content updates from us until the expansion. 1.5 was a huge patch. This apparently comes from an unofficial Discord for Cyberpunk, and it's weird how we don't get to see who exactly commented that. So I'm going to put this one up as rumor right now, but I will say this, definitely guard your hype levels for Update 1.6. Also because of what we can look at officially. So we have to go here, of course, to the development teams engaged in ongoing projects at CD Projekt Red. This is super important. Note the yellow bar. That's super important to note. That is support for Cyberpunk 2077 plus next-gen version. That's also going to be anything regarding patches. And as you can see, that has, of course, shrunken, and they've rotated their teams from that into this bigger cyan blue bar, the light blue bar here, which is going to be, of course, your Cyberpunk expansion. That's where a lot of the devotion is going into when it comes to manpower and the actual development team on Cyberpunk 2077. That's where we can expect the majority of the big new features to happen for Cyberpunk, of course, with patch 1.6. All I gotta say is be careful with the leaks and things like that. I talked about that in a previous video about the supposed major update that it's being classified as by some leakers. Yeah, we'll see about that one. Now, transmog and things like that, I do think is going to be happening for Update 1.6. But let's get into some replies here. It says, this news is turning the main subreddit back into the usual repository of bitter hatred and comments about how the game is garbage. It's a vile atmosphere over there. I don't really know what to make of this comment. It's a bit odd. I hope it just means not to expect new quests or systems, because that would make sense. It's only ever hoped for, I've only ever hoped, excuse me, for 1.6 to just roll out some quality of life stuff to keep up with pace with the best mods. And that's what I want as well. Now, furthermore, we have this one. Let's zoom this in. And this guy says, why are some idiots treating this like some live service game? Yeah, it's a single player game, and it's definitely not a live service game. Now, this question was asked to the original poster, Pablo397. It says, hey, Pablo, which dev and in which Discord server did you get this? Can you share the source? And the response was this one right here. It goes on to say this, no, I cannot. The entry comes from one of the unofficial Discord. CD Projekt Red is very restrictive, apparently, about developer statements about future content. And yes, they are. But, you know, if we would like to know the actual developer who said this, of course. I don't know why this can't be sourced, since this is on a public, unofficial Discord. So that kind of baffled me right there. So that's why I'm chalking that one up to unofficial rumor about, you know, keeping your expectations guarded for this next big update. But I will say, definitely keep your expectations guarded for sure. Now, there was a recent stream, of course, that happened from CD Projekt Red dedicated to the one and only Cyberpunk 2077 that happened on August 24th. But there were some actual teases here that did happen. In fact, some new content was just teased for Cyberpunk, and it appears that we could be expecting a new amazing weapon to be added. Check it out right here with what they had to say.
I'm a big fan of the Carnage shotgun. It just sounds great. You hit somebody with it and they... So yeah.
I really like the very one weapon that we're not gonna talk about
today, but
it's actually amazing. Like, I'm so excited to see what people can actually say after some time.
After some time.
But yeah, this is wow. Okay, so speaking of favorites.
So yes, that's really good news to hear that weapons, new stuff is actually being worked on. We have not heard anything like this at all. So this gets me at least somewhat excited that we are going to be getting new stuff with this game. Hopefully we do get a new weapon with update 1.6. I really, really hope that actually does happen. A weapon or two, maybe some cars or something like that. I want full-blown car customization after playing the new Saints Row, because at least that game has full-blown car customization, let me tell you what. Now, also on the stream, they teased something else. We got to talk about this one. CD Projekt Red isn't done at all with Cyberpunk. New live streams are planned to further communicate with the community. I have said time and time again that we desperately, desperately need more live streams from CD Projekt Red to officially talk to us, because we have so much noise within the community from leaks and speculation. It is just getting out of hand. CD Projekt Red needs to come in and step in and say what's going on. So take a look at what they had to say officially about this.
We can say, please expect some more Cyberpunk streams in the very near future. So keep your eyes open on our social channels, and maybe you will spot it, or maybe you won't miss it. Who knows? But don't miss it. Don't miss it. It will make us upset.
So yeah, it looks like they're going to be communicating with us more and more, and that is good news in my opinion, that they open up and they're more transparent about what's going on with future updates, potentially free DLC, because we have really missed out on what was promised to us. They said we would be getting tons of free DLC, much like The Witcher 3. Has that happened? No, it has not happened at all so far. Could that change with update 1.6? Hopefully. So we'll be finding out more and more about this stuff in the official live streams from CD Projekt Red. Now, CD Projekt Red also talked about the overall future of Cyberpunk. Check this out right here. It says the Quest director, Mr. Paulo Sasco, says if the future for Cyberpunk franchise is already set or not. And it's interesting because a lot of people were wondering, hey, are you guys greenlit for the sequel? Is it good to go? And the assessment was they're never ever really certain as to the exact future of a franchise or a game. They have a rough estimate of what to expect. Now, what Paulo Sasco basically said in his live stream is they can look at the numbers. Yes, Cyberpunk 2077 did very well in its initial sales, and it's considered a success in that regard. Then they go into the analytics about how it performed on Metacritic and reviews and things like that, and they gather that information for feedback. And what he said about the expansion was definitely noteworthy here. He essentially said the better the expansion does, the better for Cyberpunk as a whole. So that's really critical. It seems like they really want to nail down this expansion, that is super important for the, the sequel in essence. And they'll probably learn from the expansion whatever feedback you guys give and take that to the sequel. But I think they're going to definitely do a Cyberpunk sequel. The game was a monster hit despite the issues. If you look at the numbers, it definitely competed with some of the best franchises that actually did extremely well, and it's just such a shame that it had so much problems at launch. Now let's get into the shortness of the main story. As you can see right here, we're talking about this one. If you think the main, let me zoom this out a little bit actually. If you think the main story is short, well, maybe you're playing it wrong, because according to Paulo Sasco, the game wasn't designed to play like that. It was designed to create your own story. Oh boy, I have so many opinions about this one. If I look at all the open world games that I've played, I personally think that Cyberpunk with the main story is way too short. Red Dead Redemption 2, that's actually one of the longer story arcs for a main mission. if you just play the main mission on that one, it's like 60 hours, something crazy. That's absolutely incredible. Ghost of Tsushima is perfect in my opinion with the story length, and I think it's a little bit longer than Cyberpunk 2077, but I just think that Cyberpunk needed to be longer. The main story arc definitely needed to be longer because it was also convoluted, pieced together weird. That's my opinion, perhaps because of the development process or something like that. But then we have this opinion right here from OBJX Poke, who says, he also said before that they shortened story because of feedback from Witcher 3, in which people complained that they were thinking that the Battle of Kaer Morhen is a game finale. So, my personal opinion on that one is that I think that CD Projekt Red was doing some PR speak there, some marketing stuff to make sure that people weren't furious about a short story for Cyberpunk 2077. But then we have this one here. It goes on to say this: in both of my playthroughs, I've completed pretty much everything, and even in my head, I categorize the important side jobs as part of the main story. Then it is still too short for me. I feel there is a distinct lack of big missions with awesome set pieces like the parade in Japantown, which is my favorite job. It felt like something from Deus Ex games. Act 2 is the main meat of the game, since Act 1 is sets up the story up, and Act 3 is the ending. I think the second act could have used a few more story arcs. Heck, I would have preferred a story without the ticking time bomb trope. It would make all the small jobs, buying apartments and cars, make sense. And I think he nailed it. And a lot of people also agree. It was one of the most upvoted comments in that thread for sure. So I think what he said was absolutely perfect right there. Furthermore, we have this one right here from Morlock43 who says this: I think one of the things missing is a random encounter and mission system which keeps the gigs, etc. coming. As it is, there is a wonderful world, but not enough activities in it to keep you invested. This is where I'm hoping the next update 1.6, includes more random encounters, especially the expansion. I know the expansion is supposedly going to be taking in Pacifica, but I really hope they flesh out a lot of the other parts of this world as well. Alright, so now it's time to go into your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video, so let's do this, shall we? So this was my most recent video right here. Update 1.6 mystery DLC quietly tested. But what is it? All new update. So yeah, about 2 months ago or so, there was an interesting private update done to Cyberpunk 2077 that was called Cyberpunk 2077 Test, and it was underneath the downloadable content section of SteamDB, which indicates that, yeah, we should be getting some sort of DLC. That could be the expansion being tested, what have you. But yeah, they are really testing this like mad. Let's see what you guys had to say here. We have this one from XXYYXX the third, who says this: I want companions. I want to call up Panam and go for a night of mischief in Night City. Like others mentioned, continuing the story and adding endless quests would be nice. Have people try to assassinate you if you keep attacking specific games, etc. So much potential. The Badlands should be more welcoming as well, especially Pacifica. Give it more life, more lights, more people, and gangs. I hope so. And also, after playing Saints Row recently, it's really interesting. They have a lot of systems in place that a lot of you guys would love to see in Cyberpunk 2077. Furthermore, we have this one from Wyatt, who says this: I want V's expensive clothing to be unlockable after you complete the final mission of the story mode. Then that way you can go back in Night City again as V in New Game Plus, wearing the expensive clothing. Tons of upvotes on this one. Highly requested feature right there. Yeah, we need a fully fleshed out New Game Plus system in this game, and I think that would be coming after Expansion Pack 1 or alongside Expansion Pack 1. Furthermore, we have Devin, who says this: no, I like Night City. It has the detail. It just needs the accessibility and features. I still love the city itself, though. I catch myself stopping and just walking around for like 5 to 8, just taking it in. Absolutely. Sometimes I turn on my radio and just drive. That's what I love. I turn on my favorite radio station and just go. I did do that with every open world game. Exploring the city, that's one thing I absolutely love to do. But there it is, everyone. Thank you all so much for the comments. Again, I wish I can get to every single one of them. I love reading through them, but stay tuned for more Cyberpunk coverage. I'm hoping that we get a live stream schedule from CD Projekt Red regarding what they're doing with Cyberpunk 2077 on their streams. That should be happening soon, I would imagine, so stay tuned for that. And then, of course, maybe one of these streams would cover what's coming up here in patch 1.6. I'm hoping it's good. It'd be nice if it matched what they did with patch 1.5, but yeah. Again, keep your feelings guarded on that one, your hype levels in check, but thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.